In considering an equal money system and equality, and the principle that all form is created equal or is equally from a central substance, a substance that permeates and is within all things and express itself in various forms, yet in its original form would be one substance, one must ask a question and consider why it is that humanity, as one of the expressions, has been exposed, that is, humanity has been exposed to the message of equality for more than 2,000 years in terms of the message of Jesus, and obviously much longer, several thousand years longer, in terms of the message of the Tao with Lao-Tzu. So the message of equality is not new. Neither are the participants within this world new to the message. Why has Jesus been transformed into a musician that magically must save everyone from their sins, and as if everyone is inherently evil and incapable of applying the simple suggestions Jesus made, like love thy neighbor as thyself and do unto another what you want to do and want to have done unto yourself. Fascinating principles, and then obviously the principle of forgiveness, in essence self-forgiveness. One must wonder if humanity, given the history, would ever consider themselves capable and responsible enough to bring about a reality that is best for all. And therefore, in this endeavor of equality, the equal money system proposal and discussion and placement, we placed a lot of consideration in bringing about or placing into context very simplistic considerations that is measurable in mathematics within the current understandable physical reality, which is obviously why we have used a universal, no, we can't call it really universal, we've chosen a tool that is known to everyone on the planet as valuable, as the context within which to bring about a proposal for a world which one can term to be heaven on earth. And that valuable item, which is known by all, for which all will actually sell their soul and do their utmost to gain, is money. And all we added to money was equal money. Let everyone have the same and enough, that no one lacks in any way whatsoever. The proverbial Garden of Eden, the promised land, the land of milk and honey, given by everyone to everyone, the ultimate gift, the ultimate giving, which obviously have a few little points to consider in terms of its practicality. That means how to actually do it. Now, what is fascinating is obviously that we waited with the proposal of the system of equality and equal money system on earth till all the necessary equipment was in place. And obviously, where every human being that is on earth has the capacity to understand the principle of loving thy neighbor and giving to each other, and obviously the value of money is understood, and there has been very interesting relationships formed between people and money in this world. You can virtually see that the only real culture that exists in this world now is the money culture, and that this culture works by degrees of obsession. And in some ways the degrees of obsession would be even the denial of self having any money, purely out of the fear of being unable to actually remain humane in the face of such evil, rooted in the desire of the freedom to make a choice and have what you desire, which is what money represents. And therefore we have created the principle of greed within the context of deception, deceiving each other in an attempt to hide from each other the extent of one's obsession with wanting and having money. While the simplicity would be to give to each one enough, then you can have whatever you want and not have to hide anything, and you can actually enjoy yourself on earth instead of being worried the whole time about how you're going to beat your fellow man into the darkness and pits of the void, so that they may never find out to what degree you were actually controlled by money, and that you could present yourself to be presumably compassionable and benevolent and all the wonderful things that makes you the ultimate philosopher and savior of the human race through your self-righteousness, which is a fascinating thing, that it actually existed in so many dimensions, and that one even have things like psychology and psychiatry that protects the very evil of the system that exists as money, without understanding that every single psychological condition is in fact the result of money. The influence of money plays a role in every single one of them, that yet not a single question is even considered, not a single point is considered in the treatment of any of the patients to see what influence money had in creating the psychological disorder, and that psychiatry in itself was simply an advanced method of delusional money making, where one is protected by the strangest of laws, given power over others to keep them placid till death, while you make money feeding them chemicals. It is fascinating. It sounds like psychiatry is the actual child of Auschwitz. You're actually the very children of dictators, acting as dictators and dictating to so many in this world how to apparently live and exist, without considering that the very thing you are actually managing is the evil system of money. Now, money in itself exists in all forms of political systems in this world, in communistic, in socialistic, in democratic, and all of them, and they all are interacting under the exact same rules, which then means that the ultimate political system we have is the system of profit and loss, which is based primarily now on things like Wall Street, which is actually the paper casino. And all of this is controlled through capitalism, capital being ownership of property, of resource, and of money. Obviously, there are those that believe that gold actually is valuable. But all of the value of gold is based in the most interesting concept, the concept of faith. So gold in itself remains a religion, because the value given is given by those that participate and believe in it. And if enough people believe in a particular concept, apparently it suddenly becomes real. So if that is so, we can actually all believe in an equal money system and make it real, just as simple as we can make something real as a system where gold apparently has value, or where Wall Street has value, or the paper bonds that's sold on Wall Street has value. The values are determined by the participants. Where there is a will, there is a way, they say. Is that so within the context of the world as it exists now? So how do we do this? We are looking at the cycles of our participation and consideration within this world between birth and death, looking at the potential of having a world where there is peace for all, there is abundance for all, and there is respect for all. I mean, all the things that the law of attraction is so professing to be secret, all the things that everyone desires to have, is what we are saying is actually possible with a simple act. And that act is, first of all, to realize that we can believe anything we want, and therefore we can in fact create a money system where we decide to believe that the money has the value of life, and therefore we then bestow this life equally on all living things and give to each one thus equally the value to substantiate that this value of life, and we give that value to each one as a means and a vehicle with which to express themselves in the world and participate in a way where they have the freedom to participate equal to what they're capable and willing to express to. How do one do that practically? Once you've got established the system, would be to see how the goods, the labor, and the food, and the maintenance, and the support in the world will functions. Within that context, we will look at a labor system. The labor system is subject to an interesting notion that exists especially with youngsters, where youngsters prefer to work in groups together because they have so much more fun. Yes, youngsters in groups have fun, and they're much more industrious as youngsters than when they are with elders. And that will be the key to the labor in this world to bring about the necessary food and services required to make an equal money system work. Obviously, there is also the point that once competition and profit and corruption has been removed, the resources we're going to need to produce the goods that will make each one's life worthwhile, according to the current context of what is worthwhile, will be a lot less, and therefore a lot less labor will be needed, and a lot more of the land will be able to produce food. And we will look at a total new human experience. the evolution of freedom, the evolution of free choice, the evolution of respect, the evolution of perfection, the evolution of consideration, the evolution of benevolence, the evolution of compassion. Every form of evolution that we've aspired to will become a reality within an equal money system. Strange though that there would be those that is so stuck in self-righteousness that would believe that the human apparently is so evil that it cannot happen, and therefore even attempting to bring about a change that is best for all is seen as evil, impossible, grotesque. Really? Do you even know who you could be if there was no one you need to fear in this world? If there was nothing you had to fear in this world? If there was always sufficient of everything? Do you know who you will be if you were living without fear? I say, and we say, that there is not a single human being that knows who they are without fear, that know what they will do once they have no more fear. They don't have to fear another human being, fear where their food will come from, fear how they will survive, fear where they will live. Once all those fears and anxieties has been removed, with it obviously all our psychologists and psychiatrists as well, because they only exist because of fear, and we have established trust within our system, a fascinating thing will emerge. As we said, evolution will in fact become beneficial, and everything we've ever dreamed will become possible. Isn't that something we should consider giving ourselves? The possibility of everything we have ever dreamed of? Could that be too much? Are we not worthy of that? Or is it impossible for us to even consider that we could give ourselves and each other such an opportunity? Something to consider, isn't it?